So here's the very first song. Mm, Off I go, tomcats, alley cats, tortoiseshell and tabby cats, fat cats, skinny cats, and black cats too. And I always get the words the wrong way round, but I'll get it right the next time. So this time, could you please clap, give a clap, every time you hear the word cat? Every time you hear the word cat, you give a clap. Off I go, tomcats, alley cats, tortoiseshell and tabby cats, black cats, skinny cats, and fat cats too. Did you get caught out on tortoiseshell? It's quite a tricky one, that, isn't it? You've got to watch out. You can't just fall into a pattern here. Let's do it one more time. Same thing. Off I go, tomcats, alley cats, tortoiseshell and tabby cats, black cats, skinny cats, and fat cats too. Yay! This time, I'd like you to clap on every time you hear the word cat. I'd like you to stamp on every type of cat. At this point, I might say to a child, so what type of cats can you hear? I think there's a tortoiseshell and there's a tabby. What other sort of cats can you hear? Just to make sure they understand what I mean by the type of cat. Okay, are we ready? Stamping on the type of cat, clapping on the word cat. Are you ready? Off we go. Tomcats, alley cats, tortoiseshell and tabby cats, black cats, skinny cats, and fat cats too. How was that? It's quite a tricky one, this, in terms of the types of cats that you have to sing. So this is why this activity, it's really good just to get you switched on. You begin to listen to the words, and therefore learning it becomes so much easier. So I might then just do a my turn, your turn. Off I go, tomcats, alley cats, alley cats, tortoiseshell and tabby cats, tortoiseshell and tabby cats, black cats, skinny cats, and fat cats too. Black cats, skinny cats, and fat cats too. I'm going to sing it one more time by myself, and I'd like you to see if you can count how many different types of cats. It's up to you whether you still do that as well, okay? How many different types of cats can you sing? Can you hear? Off I go, tomcats, alley cats, tortoiseshell and tabby cats, black cats, skinny cats, and fat cats too. I think it's 7, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yay! So 7 types of cats. So now let's sing the whole song all the way through together. And this is exactly the sequence I use with kids to teach it. Online, I haven't tried it yet, face to face, to be honest, but this is how I teach it, online or face to face. Are you ready? Off we go. Tomcats, alley cats, tortoiseshell and tabby cats, black cats, skinny cats, and fat cats too. Okay. So then, if I'm online, I probably won't, I'd have the child on mute, so I can't hear what they're doing. So I probably wouldn't take it any further than that. I might then say, that's for you to work on for next week. Now, you know that I have a YouTube channel, Ready to Play YouTube channel, and some of the songs are over there. I'm not sure this one is yet. Maybe it is, because this rings a bell. But I will, if the song is on the YouTube channel, I'll then go and say, listen to Songs with Sally and see if you can sing it along with me then, okay? Because that's the easiest way of helping them to remember it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time online making sure that they know the words at this point in time. That's kind of over to them. But, it's quite a fun way of introducing the song, and it's quite an easy way of introducing the song online. The other thing you might notice is that I'm always kind of singing when it's just your turn. I'm still singing as well, because that helps me and it helps them to give them a little bit of confidence. Okay, so that's the first song. I'm going to go back to the computer now and just give you a quick overview of what book 2 contains, the concepts, and then we'll come back and do a bit more on that. So here we go, moving up. Now the progression in moving up just it continues from what you've got in book 1. I am going to say that these these books are to support the younger pupil in their pianistic studies, in terms of helping their musicianship to develop. It cannot replace, however, regular musicianship classes. It is an aid, let's say. The best musicians appear, the best musicianship work happens when you have regular classes happening every single week, in addition to the piano lesson. If you're trying to sort of box and cox piano and musicianship, then it is a better approach than not doing it at all, but it is slightly, yeah, it's not as effective. Regular musicianship is definitely the one thing that you want to be including, but I know it's not always possible. But at least it gets the ears going. So in book 2, these are the concepts that we go through. Now, in terms of rhythm, it's mostly still working with your crotchets and your quavers and your minims and stuff. But we do introduce syncopation, and we're going to be doing that today. Dotted quarter and eighth notes, dotted crotchets and quavers, and there's more on meter as well. So basically, we don't go very much further with rhythm. We just continue to consolidate the work that was started in book 1. Rhythm is so fundamental to everything we do, and absolutely the kids need to have that sense and understanding of rhythm so that they have the ability to realize a rhythm independently of you, the teacher. By realize, I mean work out how it should sound. So that's rhythm. So I keep pressing the wrong thing. And then in terms of pitch, the pitch does go, we do now extend the pitch. In book 1, we started with so and mi, and then la, so and mi. Then we did mi, re, do, and then do, mi, sorry, so, mi, do. And at the end we did so, mi, re, do. So we got those four notes, which is nearly the pentatonic scale. Here, you might have noticed Tomcats, Alleycats. It's the full pentatonic scale, and that is what the whole song is about, introducing that idea. Do, re, mi, sol, la, sol, mi, re, do. We have the pentatonic scale for the first 3 songs. Of course, the pentatonic scale, universal scale, worldwide scale, and it is in many, many, many pieces of music. Yeah, I've just picked out 2 songs in particular, and the third one, which uses the notes from the pentatonic scale. Then, after that, and this will be covered in the next training, we go into the Do pentachord. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And then further in the book, we go into the La pentachord. La, ti, do, re, mi, re, do, ti, la. So that's what we've got here below. The major pentachord, the minor pentachord, and we also have a song, Lavender's Blue, which is in the major hexachord. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. That's what we cover in this. So, like in book 1, there is a very gradual introduction of these different tone sets, as they're called. One builds onto the next one. Do it again. Other concepts that we cover in the book is rondo, which you get in the engine. We go on to the relative stave. We introduce clefs and landmark notes, sharps and flats, and intervals of fourths, fifths, and sixths. So it actually covers quite a lot in this particular book. But I think, and you might decide that it's going to take a little bit longer to cover in book 2 probably than you take in book 1. So the songs we're going to be looking at today are the one we've just had, Tomcats, Alleycats, and then Engine, and Funga Alafia. Okay. Now what we're going to do is just sing the song one more time all the way through, And then we're going to see if we can do a bit of an oral warm-up. And I've got my little friend Lulu here waiting to come and help you all do your oral warm-ups and working out the song in solfa. So let's see if you can remember. Imagine it's the following week. Yeah, imagine it's the following week. Students had a little practice of the song at home, hopefully. And I might say, oh, do you remember what that song was called? And if they don't get it, then I might say, okay, something to do with cats and clapping and stamping. So let's see if we can all sing the song all the way through together. Are you ready? Up we go. Tomcats, alley cats, tortoiseshell and tabby cats, black cats, skinny cats and fat cats too. Yay, well remembered. Now, here is my little friend Lulu. Now, I know several of you have also got similar sock puppets who are proving, I think, from what I see and hear, very popular with your pupils. Now, I find Lulu, you're delightful, aren't you? Yeah. I find Lulu so enormously helpful because as soon as she is there, especially teaching online, because as soon as she is there, she gives me something to talk to that is live in the room, and it gives the pupil something to focus on. Okay. And I will tend again to do this with the pupil on mute. I will tend to do it with the pupil on mute, just because it's very distracting, isn't it, to hear people coming back to you a few seconds after you've sung. I wouldn't say I do it always on music, but quite often. So this time we're going to do a little bit of warm up. So we might start with Lulu. I'm going to sing Lulu, okay, and I'd like you to copy me. Oh, and I might say to the student, would you mind singing along with Lulu? Okay, so my turn first. Off I go. So me do me. Your turn. So me do me. That was lovely. What about this one? Mi re do. Off you go. Mi re do. And you see that I'm doing the hand signs. Obviously, Lulu can't do the hand signs. But it's lovely. I can see some people are also doing the hand signs. The hand signs are, if you haven't tried them out in book one, then do give them a go in book one, because they are really a useful method of communicating the music. So if I went, for example, have a listen, Lulu. I'm going to show it you in my hand signs, okay? And you're going to sing it back, okay? Off I go. Your turn to sing it. Mi re do. Yeah. So what this makes you do is use your thinking voice to imagine the sound. And at the heart of all our music making, and the problem why so many people, I was talking to the Oxford Piano Group about it last week, internalization, using the thinking voice, audiation, whatever you want to call it. The reason why so many people have tension at the piano is because you don't have a clear image of the music in your head. Yeah, you know that, don't you? So if you start that already with children, getting them to use that thinking voice, that's where this comes in. Goodness me, then you're setting them on a really, really good road. Okay, so back to, there's a little diversion on hand size. We're going to go back to our copycat. Okay, so my turn first. Off I go. So me, so me. Your turn. So me, so me, so me, la, so me, so me, la, so me. That was really, really lovely. Here's another one. Off I go. So me do me. You sing that? So me do me. Lovely. And then, yes, you're very good at pulling my sleeves up as well, aren't you? Clearly, yes. So now the next thing is I'm going to do it to Na. Lulu's going to sing it with the singing names, and then I'd like you to sing back with the singing names. So now you see we're changing it. So I'm going to do the Na. Lulu sings it, basically, gives the answer, and then the student. And then what we do is we swap over. The student sings the answer, and this is where they come off mute. And Lulu would then give the right answer. So let me just do it this way around. Off I go, na 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 na. Lulu, so mi do mi. Your turn as the students. Okay. And what about this one? So my turn, Lulu, then you. Here's the next one. Starts on me. Absolutely. Have a listen. No hand signs this time. Off I go. Na, na, na. Lulu. Mi, re, do. Your turn. Yeah. Works really nicely. Now this time we're going to do it the other way around. So I'm going to na. Can you hear when I take the hand signs away, you have to work harder at working out what the pitch is. I know for you lot it's quite easy, but nevertheless, you have to work a little bit harder as soon as you don't have the hand signs. These are all phases of the learning progression, of course. So here's another one. Off I go. Na, 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 na. Your turn. Lulu. So mi la, so mi. So one of the things I really like about doing this is because you would have you would have been off mute, so I would have heard you. And rather than saying that was right or wrong, Lulu sings the right answer. So I'm not having to speak about whether it's the right answer or not. And if it wasn't quite the right answer, I might say to Lulu, I think you two sang something different, didn't you? Can you sing yours again? And that way we'd use some humour. We'd make it into quite a sort of a fun little game and exercise. So I would do all that before I then go on to look at page 2. At the bottom of it, you can see that we have got the different phrases. Actually, the student has to work out where they come. So this page is all about introducing this concept of the pentatonic scale. One thing I would say is when we refer to the so far, you know, so and mi or do, sing it. These are singing names. That's why they're called singing names. So you don't refer to do or mi or so, but do or mi or so. Always try and sing it in the with the singing voice. So the pentatonic scale, it's worth pointing out just in a light way that it always has the same intervals. So again, I'd sing do, re is a second, re, mi is a second, mi, so is a third, sol, la is a second. Okay. And it's, you know, if you have the time, and it can be tricky, you don't want to spend too long doing this in a piano. This is why I say musicianship is always better as a regular class. You could try changing the starting pitch. I'm going to go low because it feels like a bit Saturday morning-ish, but with a jazz I need to go higher. Do, re is a second, re, mi is a second, mi, so is a third, sol, la is a second. Of course, you can come down. Should we try it coming down together? Off we go. La, so is a second. So, mi is a third. Mi, re is a second. Re, do is a second. You know, you might want to say, oh, look, does it do the same or different coming down? Of course, it is the same intervals in this particular case. Right, so now they have to sing the 4 tone sets and work out where each of them fits in the song. By the time you've done the warm-up with Lulu, this becomes quite easy. Yeah, so you sing through the song again, maybe phrase by phrase. Here's the first phrase. Have a little listen. Na 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 na. Oh, which one do you think that is? And because obviously I've got control over here, hopefully they would sing so mi do mi. Oh, that's brilliant. If not, I would help them, and then they can mi do mi, and so on and so forth. We'd go through each one like that. I think those of you that have used the teacher's guides for book one will know, I talk about these activities that all students will be able to, most will be able to, a few will be able to. A few will be able to do that completely unaided. Most should be able to do it with a bit of guidance at the beginning. Some will struggle. And therefore you've got to help them as much as you can, and then send them away to work on that a little bit more at home, maybe with the help of a video from me or from yourself. Okay, so I'm just going to close that, and yes, so I'm just going to point out on the next page, if you've all got your pencils at hand, book 2 has got a few little errors in it that I missed. So on page 3, it should say, not pentatonic scale again, but it should say the relative stave. I've changed it on here. Yeah, you can see it says change. So that should say relative stave. And the other thing, fairly crucial, that's missing, my apologies for this, is this should have a so at the start here. Well, you see where I'm pointing to? Because this is the so clef. Yeah. So the relative stave is, there is no clef there, because of course a lot of kids, if they're really kind of bound in and taught from the beginning about the treble and the bass clef and stuff like that, they tend to think that pitch is really fixed on that stave, and they can't they haven't got the concept that it's all determined by that clef. Now we do come into the clef in Once a Duck Fell in a Well, but this is just trying to loosen, if you like, those boundaries that children tend to have, very definite boundaries, don't they? In fact, I think we are responsible for teaching them like that. So this is kind of trying to help them to see that this is a set of lines and spaces, and actually there's nothing at the beginning, and it's the thing at the beginning, the clef, the key, that really unlocks what the pitches are. So this is partly what the relative stave is all about. Again, it's a really important step in helping that inner ear to develop. And if you think about the process we've gone through book 1, it's mostly been oral, an oral development. Most lessons should still happen away from the book, by singing, by responding, by playing. And then, as well as the oral, we've then had body solfa to help establish the sense of pitch, or hand signs. We've then gone to symbols. We've started with the symbol for rhythm. By symbols, we're looking at the way we write it, which is just a symbol. It's not the rhythm itself. It is a symbol for rhythm. We've used graphics. We've used rhythm solfa, which is what we've just been doing with Tomcat Alley Cat. And I've said before that rhythm solfa, absolutely essential. From the rhythm solfa, which continues to develop in book 2, you can then start to think about the relative stave. And the idea of relative is that you can move the pitch up and down. So it says here on the relative stave, and this is what I still go to myself and I read it out from here, because if you try and make things up as you go along, which we all tend to, because that's what we do, then we don't quite get the definition in the way that I personally would like. So I've said here, as musicians, the next stage is to learn to sing and then play from the relative stave. On the relative stave, notes are not attached to particular fixed letter names. That happens when the correct symbol or clef is placed at the start. For now, we will use the so or the do clef. So it's up to each song in this case to decide where is the so going to start. I've decided here that so starts on the 4th space. Yeah, there is no fixed pitch here. I can still go here's my so for reading this. Because I'm not in the treble clef, I'm not in the bass clef. Yeah, everybody clear about that. Yeah, there is no fixed starting pitch here. When we get to the clefs, that's when I have to give myself the note at the piano. But at the moment, I can go anywhere. So as you can see, I've just written out here, so, mi, do, mi, so, to give that sense of those, those lines and spaces. And in the song, in the first relative stave below, you can see that it's all picked out in terms of looking where the space notes are and looking where the line notes are. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much longer going through that. The children do get the chance to have a go at playing Tomcats, Alley Cats, starting this time on a lower so, it says, and you might say, what's different about this so? Where does this so live? Is it a line or a space note? Which line note is it? Always you're trying to get the answer to come from them rather than giving them too many answers. And, you know, it is being ready to play. Could you play, you know, the first so, mi, do, mi. And again, some will be able to do it. Those with the ears that are really switched on, some will need more help. There is no specific, they can all do it straight away. Okay, so any questions you've got following on to that, then you might want to just jot into the chat place, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, let's get going with the next song. I am going to choose a different camera to do this one. I'm going to have a quick slurp of water. It's time for you all to stand up again, folks. Okay, so get yourself standing up, and we're going to go stamp, right, stamp, left, pat, 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 right, left. Off I go. Sorry. Engine number 9, running down the London line. If she's polished, how she'll shine. Engine number 9. Stamp. Okay, it's quite hard to do that. For children in particular, yeah, they get themselves in a right little knot. So if you need to, you just do the stamp, stamp. Yeah, as a starting point, and then gradually add in the other ones. I think quite a few of you know this. I'm going to take it for granted at this point that if you don't know it, you're going to pick it up very quickly. So we'll try it again. And we're going to get see if I can give you the right off we go this time. And I'm going to do the stamping as well. So let's get going with this first. One round of this, 2 rounds maybe. Ready, stamp, stamp. One more time. Are you ready? Off we go. Engine number 9, running down the London line. If she's polished, how she'll shine. Engine number 9. Now this time, oh, the train's going downhill. Are you ready? Up we go. Engine number 9, running down the London line. If she's polished, how she'll shine. Engine number 9. Yeah. So you can play all sorts of games with tempos with this one. Just be a really strong leader. If you're doing this online or even in person, then just lead it really, really strongly until the child knows and has picked it up. I'm just going to say here, I don't think I've said this already, but you're going to hear me say it several times, I suspect. Please always introduce the song at least 1 week before you then do any work on it. We have to know the songs really well. The child has to know the song, and you'd be amazed. Well, I think you all know this anyhow. The way the child's brain works, you can do a song, you send them away that you think they haven't really got it because you've had to do most of the work. Actually, they come back the next week, absolutely nailed it. You know, they just remember it. Children are just amazing like that, I think. And we struggle a bit more, but nevertheless, we can often remember things more than we think we can, especially if we've done it away from the words, with no words in front of us. Okay, so let's now, we've done that. One other thing to say is I kept it on London line. but you need to personalize it. Where does the child live? So change it, running down the Newbury line, running down the Edinburgh line, whatever the places that they live, try and make sure that they change it to that place. Okay, so now let's see if we can work out the rhythm together, shall we? So engine, engine, number 9. So on this one, I'd probably have them off mute, yeah, and I'd be asking them to tap the rhythm. They can either use their fingers, they could find something. It's quite fun in the house to find something like wooden spoons or something like that. You can ask them that to do that in advance if you got your head in that mode. Or of course you could use some claves. Let me just find mine, which are down here, and I'm going to use these. So we're going to do engine, engine number 9. So I'll say the words and then I'd like you to tap back the rhythm pattern of each phrase, okay? And I shall tap it as well. Off I go. Engine, engine number 9. Running down the London line. We can go. If she's polished, how she'll shine. Engine, engine number 9. Ooh, that was really lovely. Now let's do it again this time. And this time, as I say the words again, could you tap back and could you say the rhythm language? Yeah, say the rhythm language, the T, T's and the T's. See if you could work out the rhythm language. So, are you ready? Off I go. Engine, engine number 9. Going down the London line. If she's polished, how she'll shine. Engine, engine number 9. T, 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 car. Okay. I'm hoping all of you have got a pencil and a bit of paper there. Maybe don't look in the book. Just write down the rhythm of the first line for me without looking. Off I go. Engine, engine. Sorry, I'm going to do it this way. Off I go. You say it back. Now write it down. So again, with the student, they wouldn't have the book there in front of them. Yeah, I'd ask them to have a piece of paper and it's basically dictation. I'm going to ask them to write down the rhythm. So that's the rhythm of the first line. Rhythm of the second line, going down the London line. Listen. Can you say it? T, 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 car. Now write it down. So once you establish a pattern, see if you can always stick to the pattern. So I am saying it and then I'm tapping it, then I'm asking them to say the rhythm language. That's absolutely vital, can't miss that out. And then they write it down. They always say it and then they write it. Okay, we're short of time, so I'm not going to go on, but by doing that, you begin to see and hear that actually the rhythm pattern is the same, isn't it, for each and every phrase. There are 4 phrases and each one has the same rhythm pattern, which then makes it a nice sort of segue into actually reading it from the rhythm solfa that you've got there on page 6. So, mi, mi, re, mi, so, so. I would have introduced Lulu into the mix before I did that, by the way. I would have done some more, singing back with Lulu. So some more oral activity for them away from the notation. So I'm engaging the ears so that we've done the rhythm and we've done some singing of orally of the pentatonic scale, and then we will go and read it. So let's just sing it in rhythm solfa. And if you can, you've got your books there, hopefully. If not, I'm going to do it with my hand signs. Let's see if we can sing it together from the beginning. Are you ready? Off we go. So, mi, mi, re, so, mi, re, mi, do, do, mi, so, la, so, mi, re, mi, do. Then you might ask them about the phrases and see if they could work out the structure of the phrase. And of course, in this one, we have A, B, C, B. A, B, C, B. And the statements below ask them to agree or disagree with whether that is correct. And you can see the phrase structure is A, B, C, B. And the answer is absolutely yes. You might say, okay, now I wonder whether we could sing it again, only this time on the second phrase, the train goes through a tunnel. So we're going to sing it with our thinking voice. So phrase 1, singing out loud with our hand sign. Phrase 2, just the hand sign. Phrase 3, sing and hand sign. Phrase 4, what do you want to do? Do you want to do with is it going to go through another tunnel? No. Okay, so just the second phrase is going to go through the tunnel. That's where you sing in your thinking voice. Are you ready? Off we go. So, mi, re, mi, so. Do, mi, so, la, so, mi, re, mi, do. Okay. And of course, that's really interesting. Will they come in on the third phrase with the do in pitch? Because that will tell you a lot. Third phrase is the hardest phrase to sing because it bucks the trend, if you like. It goes up. So some children really struggle to get the pitch of this. And the younger children in particular will find this quite an athletic song. All right. So it makes the voice move around quite a bit, which is why, especially online, you do need to model it. And the younger children will just need more time just playing games with the song, just doing the very first set thing that we did in lots of different ways. You know, do be creative with these songs. Come up with your own games, and don't be limited just by what I suggest, please. It's up to you to take and to have more fun with it, really. The next thing is it's written out there on the relative stave at the top of page 7, which you can't see here, but you can see in your books, and it says write in any remaining singing names that you need to help you, and hopefully because you've been through it like that, it shouldn't be a problem. And then we come to the sing then play. Now, having done it with the so, mi, re, mi, so, sorry, wrong way. Having done it, you then want them to see if they can play it, which is always the tricky thing. How do you get them from the singing to the playing? I think you need to bring in the letter names, and in the same way as they're singing it in the solfa, they actually need to sing it in their letter names now. Now, what I've done here is I have covered up 2 of the letter names. So I've got a G do, an F do, and a C do. So I'm just going to go with the C do for the moment. And I would probably just example to them how it's going to work. Once I've done the first one, they will probably get it. So I might sing, okay, so it's going to go like this, isn't it? Let me just find a color. So, mi, re, mi, so. Yeah. Now down here, look. Off I go. Sorry, I'm going to do it in pitch now because I am referring to letter names. G. Off I go. G, E, D, E, G. Okay, should we sing that together? Off we go. G, E, D, G. Ooh. Now, what about the next one? Let's just go back here. Well, there we are. Now, let's try the second phrase. It goes, so, mi, re, mi, do. So let me show you again how that goes. And you can be thinking what the letter names are. Off I go. So, mi, re, mi, do. Ooh, did you notice it goes a big one, doesn't it, over to the do? Did you work out what you're going to sing? Have a go. Off you go. G. How was that? Give yourself a marks out of 10 for how well you did that. And you know, you might say, okay, if you did only a 5, should we do it one more time? So this way we're building them up with understanding, being able to sing those letter names. And then we can go, okay, so now let's go from, goes down here again. So, mi, re, mi, do, so. Sing that with the letter names. G, E, E, D, E, G, G. You see if you could play that. Off you go. And most will actually be able to do that because you've taken such care with the steps, and they'll look at you and they'll go, oh. And then they'll have that motivation to go on and see if you can work out what the next one is as well. It takes time, this sort of thing, and I wouldn't rush this song in any shape or form because there's lots and lots and lots you can do with it. So this is definitely a 3 to 4 week returning to song, and it can provide you with these little sort of snippets of lessons. So you're not going to try and cover all 4 pages in one lesson. You're going to spread out everything and do it over a whole load of subsequent lessons. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the last page for this one, which is about the rondo. Now, this is what's called a rhythm rondo. Let's go on. Here we go. So this is about when a section of or piece of music, no, I'm just going to change my camera. Here we go. When a piece of music keeps coming back round and round. It's called a rondo. So this is your rhythm rondo. And it's very hard to write, but it's really easy to do. And with this one, they're going to tap and say the number 9, number 9. Could you all tap? I'm going to use a drum for this. Ideally, you want them to use a drum or saucepan lid or something that they can find in the house that is going to make a percussion instrument. Could you all copy for me? I'm going to say off I go. Number 9, number 9. Your turn. Number 9, number 9. Okay, lovely. Now this time I'm going to say, I'm going to tap my number 9 and then I'm going to count to 4 out loud. Then I'm going to tap it again and then I'm going to count to 4 out loud. And I'd like you to do exactly the same as I do, counting out loud and saying the rhythm pattern. Off I go. Number 9, number 9. Start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 9, Okay, you need to be counting out loud as well. Okay, so you copy me exactly what I do in terms of the rhythm, tapping the rhythm, and doing the counting. You are 4 beats behind me, basically. Okay, off I go. Number 9, number 9. You start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 9, number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 9, number 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. Okay, so just to help us with this, to make it a little bit more fun, I've now got a backing track. So we're going to do exactly the same thing all together, but with the backing track. And the counting numbers is so important for you and for your students as well. Please, please, please count aloud. Counting aloud, essential at this age. Here we go.
1, 2,
you hear me,
3,
Nina?
4.
Have a listen.
Number 9, number 9.
1, 2. Let's join in. Number 9, number 9. Tapping. Number 9, number 9. Number 9, number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 9, number 9. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Number 9, number 9. Last one coming up here. Number 9, number 9.
So the idea of the counting aloud is to get them to feel those 4 beats. So you can hear that the rhythm rondo is the returning number 9 bit, because in this next one, sorry, wrong one, in this next one, They then can improvise a rhythm where the heartbeats are. So they're still going to do the number 9. A few will be able to still do the number 9. Most will probably stop tapping the number 9 and just do the improvisation for 4 beats each time. Okay. But some will be able to both do the number 9 and the improvisation as well. So same thing happens. This time I'd like you to just do the improvisation. There's 2 suggested rhythms to get you going. You have to fit it into those 4 beats. That's all that you have to do. Here we go. Oh, wrong. Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. Number 9, number 9.
5.
Number 9, number 9. 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 Last one coming up here. Number 9, number 9.
Yay! And hopefully, you found that lots of fun. Hopefully they would find that as well. Quite fun and energizing to do. Okay, there's several other activities that you can see there on that page as well, of page 8, which can build on that. As I say, this is quite a big hefty song, and you can take several weeks, or you can spread the activities out whilst you're doing other songs as well. Completely up to you, but it's there to give you a little bit of guidance and fun on the sorts of things that you can get up to. I have also got here, and I haven't really worked on this yet, but you could also link that idea of rondo to a piece that's a rondo. I'm thinking about in particular the Mozart, and you could make it into a cup game. They have to clap or tap different cup rhythms for it. So there are links that you could definitely make. That's the idea of that. Okay, we're going to go on to the last song for today, and this one, okay, we need to start again by teaching you the actions for this. Again, it's another one that's hard to hard to write, but much easier to do. So, my turn. You're going to need to stand up for this one. My turn. Off I go. Hey. Okay. So this is called Rhythm as Pulse. And you might have noticed that there were 8 repetitions. Is that the last one, which has 7 and hands in the air? So you're going to stamp your feet 8 times. You're going to tap your knees 8 times, clap your hands 8 times, tap your shoulders, and then put your hands in the air. Okay, let's do that together. Start with. Are we ready? Off we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey! Yay! And you'd want to do that quite a lot with your students. It will work as a standalone activity, and there's lots of fun. It can do it in canon. In fact, let's try it as a canon. You're going to be in canon with me. So I'm going to do the first 8, and then you're going to come in at the start with stamping your feet. Okay, so you'll always be 8 beats behind. My turn first. I'll try and indicate when it's time for you to come in. We'll see how I get on with that. My turn first. Off I go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey! Yay! How'd you get on? Yeah! And I've got to remember that you haven't finished till 8 beats later. Don't sit down yet. Let's try it again. And this time, what I'd like you to do is choose a different place to come in. You might come in after 4 beats. If you know this and you've done it before, challenge yourself after 2 beats. Biggest challenge of all is after 1 beat. Okay. So you can come stick to the 8 beats if you like, or try and come in after 4 beats, or after 2 beats, or after 1 beat. You have to know it very well indeed to do it after 1 beat. And it's always chaos, so it's so fun to do it. In a group of 20 people, you worked up to everybody coming in after 1 beat. Wonderful. Okay, you choose. Ready, steady, off I go. Hey! Yay! I think everybody's finished. So lots of big smiles, which is exactly as it should be. Jolly good. But now you have to do it again. So you've all sat down again. Have I sat down? I don't think I have. So this time you have to do it as I sing a song. This is our African song, Funga Alafia. And the origins of this song are slightly, well, yeah, they're from African continent. It's a very well-known song with lots of different versions and variations. You'll find it with slightly different words. You'll find it with slightly different melodies as well. It's always pentatonic though. And it's a song of welcome. We know that. And it can be sung and played as a call and response song, as a call and response. So it's Funga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe, Funga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Now, ideally, well, it doesn't really matter how you do it, but that's my call, that's the response. Funga Alafia, Funga Alafia, Ashe, 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 Funga Alafia, Ashe, 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 Funga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe, Funga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe, Funga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe, Funga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. That's it. So that was me teaching the song all the way through. Now, what I might do is I might get Lulu and her brother. Let me just go and get her brother, who's been lurking, waiting to come in. And this is Freddie. Fred is a bit of a rhythm rapper, which is good for Funga Alafia, to show how the two call and responses work together. So Lulu's going to sing the call and Freddie's going to sing the response. Yeah. So you're going to ready, Lulu? Yeah. Off you go, Funga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe, Funga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Okay. So out there, you decide which one you want to sing. Do you want to sing with Lulu or do you want to sing with Freddie? Whichever one you do, see if you can do the movement at the same time. Yeah, stamping your feet, patting your knees, clapping your hands, tapping your shoulders. I am you too. I am merging two things together there a bit quickly, and again, with the students, you've just got to judge whether they can do that. A few will be able to, most won't. But you're teachers, so I'm assuming a lot here. So you ready? Bit of movement and singing. Are you ready? Off we go. Funga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Funga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Swap. Funga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Funga Alafia, Ashe, Ashe. Of course, I couldn't tap my knees because I had puppets on my hands, but hopefully you get the idea. Hopefully you get the idea. And again, this is a really useful way of showing when you have two parts like that, these two are incredibly useful. Otherwise, trying to explain it takes forever, doesn't it? So there we go. There's a call and response. And what this song has in it is it's introducing syncope, 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 syncopation. Now, to be honest, I'm finding that I don't spend a long time on this song as song 3. I will introduce it, we will do some work on syncopation, but I'm not going to go and spend the weeks maybe that I would do on engine with it. I find that I'm introducing the song 1 week, I'm doing some work on the syncopation, and then the second week, and then I would probably move on. And I would come back to it when the student learns a song that has got syncopation in it. That's the point where I'd come back and really reinforce it. So I had one child who was learning Five Little Speckled Frogs sat on, yeah, which is in one of the Piano Star books, I think. So we came back and did this song, and it just provided a really lovely link. So syncopation, and again on the page, I explain how syncopation is that this is a lively and dancing rhythm, because I think that's what it is. Funga Alafia. It is a lovely dancing rhythm, and it says it cuts across the beats. Now here it says it cuts across beats 1 and 2, which is what it does, but of course it can cut across any beat. So it cuts across the beats is one other way that you might explain it. And you can either do ti-ta, ti-ta, ti. Now you'll notice I'm doing this clicking business. I saw this happening, I can't remember exactly who it was, but one of the Hungarians using a class with this. I thought, oh, that's fantastic. Rather than going ti-ta, ti, ti-ta, on the body, ti-ta, ti, ti-ta, ti, ti-ta, because there we have the T, here's the ta, here's the T. Oh, perfect. Just take a bit of doing there. And you could also use the word syncopa, 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 tita, syncopa. Up to you, or use both of them. Doesn't really make any difference. So if you were to try and tap the rhythm, it would be off I go. Funga Alafia, ashe, ashe. Funga Alafia, ashe, ashe. Should we try it? You have to think about this one, which is why I'm going a bit slower. You ready? But all together, off we go. Funga Alafia, ashe, ashe. Funga Alafia, ashe, ashe. Woo! And that was wrong. Ashe, ashe. Okay. Yeah. So that is Funga Alafia. Exactly the same work that you've been doing on with Lulu, getting the solfa in there. No do so la la so mi so, and getting them to do the call do so la la so, and you do the response mi so mi so. Now you'll notice that the so and the la and the mi has got the little dashes by it. So that is referring to low below the do that you've chosen. Yeah. So this is low, low so, low la, and even low mi. Yeah. Those are all low. So do so la la so mi so mi so. Do so la la so mi I do. And again, there's lots and lots of activities that you can follow on those 2 pages for improvisation, for really reinforcing the idea of the lines and the spaces. Let me just keep going. Yeah. So there's your syncopation. And then, yeah, marking the intervals. So this is getting them used to that relative stave. You're not asking them to read from it really at this moment in time. Really what you want them to be able to do is to find them all and mark them in different colours. So, I might say, oh, could you find a second for me and put a circle around it, and they're going to look around and see if they can find a second. There we go, something that moves in a second. Can you find something that moves as a third? So it's going to go from maybe a space to a space, and again they'd have to look through, and a few will be able to do this straight off. Most will need some help. And then a fourth, and this is quite a new interval, of course, so all will probably need help in finding that fourth. So marking the intervals in different colors. And then finally, you're going to encourage them to make up their own, do some improvising and make up their own call and response from Funga Alafia at the piano. Those are all things that they can do at home, and I will be providing, but I haven't done yet, some support material for them to do and listen to on via the Ready to Play YouTube channel. Okay, so that's just about me done from that. Fantastic, fantastic to have so many of you with me enjoying and joining in. I hope you've all got something that you can take away and that you feel as though you can use going forward. For those of you that haven't yet used book 2, then there's quite an adventure going on in book 2. It will probably take you more time to cover than book 1. It could be that your students have galloped through book 1. Just enjoy book 2. Just come to it when it's the right time. Take the concepts, use the concepts. Don't necessarily need to go through it quite in the same order. And as you'll see as we go through, probably in the 3rd training, there are some really quite strong pedagogical things about intervals and things and singing that we will come back to.